Well, hello everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. It's like a Sheffield tour, this, isn't it? The amount of content we've got. I used to be here, used to live here. Good part of my life. I've got a little bit of an affinity with Sheffield, always. But listen, there is absolutely no love loss for this one as I walk around Bramall Lane. And I'm going to take you guys with me, just having a little chat about the game coming up, where I think Leeds can get a serious advantage over Sheffield United as we walk around the DSM family stand. There you go, everybody. Already a hero here, look. Already a hero. Tyrese Campbell. Played about 10 games, already a hero. I'm joking. I'm only jesting. But yeah, good stadium, Bramall Lane. Was in there yesterday. And it's a good stadium. I like it. It's decent. Modern. I'm not sure about the colours, but it's decent. And look, I've got no problem with Sheffield United. Never have done. It's been a rivalry, a recent rivalry for me in terms of just promotion and all that sort of good stuff. But that's been it. Nothing on the level of what we've got with some certain other clubs. You know, even like Millwall to an extent. I mean, I wouldn't class them as a rival at all. They're just, a much smaller club. But, I guess we've had more needle with them over the years. But we're here. It's going to be such an interesting game. I'm not nervous yet. I mean, it is on the day of recording. It's Thursday. So the game's obviously on Monday. So I'm not as nervous as I might be when I'm here on Thursday. Nice little brickwork there. But Sheffield United then, everyone. What are we thinking? Big win, tight one. Well, I can tell you the last two times Leeds United have been here, we've won. 2 1-0 victories to 0 as well. Sheffield United struggling to score. And to 0 was earlier on in the season, wasn't it, as well? Leeds United coming away with a 2-0 win, and my goodness, wasn't it dominant? Absolutely dominant. We battered them all ends up. And I've mentioned this a couple of times before, and I don't know if it's controversial. But for me, one of the easier games of the season. I didn't think they really got into the game whatsoever. And, when we look at the lineup that day for Sheffield United, it's interesting. Gus Hamer, who was neutralised really. Vinny Souza, Callum O'Hare, Kiefer Moore, Tyrese Campbell, Harry Souttar, all available for Sheffield United. Not a single injury that day for United. Leeds United suffer an injury that day, and quite keenly to Ethan Ampadu, formerly of Sheffield United. So obviously Leeds started up with a midfield 2 of Rothwell and Tanaka. Ramazani was there, Nonto was there as we approach the pearly Sheffield United gates. There we go, the hill. just a mound there. But yeah, interesting. They've got like a bit of, it's almost like construction work up here. Interesting. Sheffield United fans, what's going on? But yeah, I think we had probably a less strong side out for that one. I think Sheffield United potentially, obviously with the rumour, I think you can hear me guys, but it is a bit windy. It is Sheffield. But potential Gus Hamer injury, tight hamstring, was feeling it. That is, it doesn't matter what Wilder says on Thursday with regard, well, it matters if he's going to turn around and say it's a grade 2 or a grade 3. But if he's feeling it in that game and he's chasing Dan James and Bogle up that left-hand side, telling you, I've said this before, from a man who's suffered with hamstring injuries, from a grade 1 to a grade 4, from mass bruising on my leg to just a slight twinge, that's a tough one. And especially when he's been feeling it against Luton and Middlesbrough. Now, that's going to be fascinating to see if he starts on the left or if he goes central. Callum O'Hare's available. Both those players are jewels in the crown for Sheffield United. And it has to be said, both didn't turn up at Ellen Road. So there's going to have to be a little bit more there. I thought Vinny Souza, to an extent, turned up for them at Ellen Road. Was trying to give it a little bit, wasn't he? I know he's a bit of a you-know-what house. So we need to match that energy. But we took the game away from them, and it was Ramazani, it was Nonto, and that's why you look at it and you think it's the scariest depth the Championship's probably ever seen, because football's not linear. I think those two, if Leeds are to go up work in the Premier League, really well. Yeah, and for me, it's going to be so interesting to see how we deal with it. But I think the big thing for them, as we approach the fan zone, is how do they deal with us? How do they deal with us? Blades, how many of you go to United? Is it a good calf? Should I get myself a balm? But yeah, you know, big game. Interesting conversation when it comes to selection. Are they going to go to a back five like they did at Ellen Road last time? I thought that was a stupid move from Wilder, I'll be honest. But I think we rattled him. I think he was completely rattled by Leeds that day. Why? Well, because he was thinking more defensively, and he'd had a back four throughout the season. Comes up against Leeds, goes with a back five, and I think we got in his head a little bit. He came out a bit spiky afterwards, didn't he? Saying, "Oh well, you know, I made the decision. I make the decisions and all that sort of stuff." Here we are, enemy lines. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't think he got it. He didn't get it right at all. But I have to be honest, even with the back four, they might have had a better chance. But I think we'd have still pummeled them, which we did. And I think that's the thing. You do wonder now with Leeds United if we're just a little bit too good for them. Look, the accrue points table, we know Blades and even the manager likes to go on about the accrue points and seems to forget that there are rules in football and they've been docked 2 points. But they have got, I believe, as many points as Leeds United this season. So, positives for the Blades. Now, where do they beat us? What do they do? For me, I don't really know. Our weakness is our weakness. We all know who that is. It is, obviously, pending no injuries. It's your man, isn't it? Elan Meslier. So, if they're getting into central spaces, if I'm Chris Wilder, I'm saying shoot. That's what I'm saying. Because I do think Elan Meslier has been improved in the last sort of 2 or 3 games. He's actually in the 70% save percentage. He's actually done all right when it comes to goal prevention. He's now in the positive statistic, which he's not been in 5 years. Staggering statistic, that in itself. But I also think if they're just able to get players central, get players in and around the sort of edge of the area, and they get pot shots off, which we know Harmer can do. You know, Gus Harmer has got a wonderful strike on him. If they're able to do that, I think that's the avenue. I'll be honest, I think that's their avenue. If they're not doing that, it's not like they can't pick us apart, but that day on the left they had Harrison Burrows. They had Alfie Gilchrist, of which he might not be available for this one with all the loans that they've got in, because obviously Sheffield United now have 6 loans. You can only have 5 in the squad on match day. Who do you drop? You're not going to drop Chowdhury. I doubt he's going to drop Harry Clark with the recent loan. Rob Holding's not going to be dropped. Ben Berriton Diaz isn't going to be dropped. So what do they do when it comes to that? It might have to be Alfie Gilchrist. So for me, they had a stronger side out last time out. They had a stronger side. As I say, no injuries. You know, Ollie Arblaster, their best player, according to some of their fans, was available and was anonymous in the game, really. Rothwell and Tanaka just ate them both up, him and Vinny Souza. So I think shots on goal, because I think you accumulatively build up shots against Elan Meslier. That's when you worry a little bit for me. That is when you worry. So their last 6 games have been interesting. So the recent form between both sides, I should say, we've won 4 out of the last 5 against them. They'll dine out on Basham arriving, but we have won the last 3 after that. But we just don't make a DVD out of it, do you know what I mean? Oh, he's getting the niggle in now. It must be nearly match day. It's all love. But yeah, for me, obviously we've beaten them last 4 out of 5 times, but their last 6 games is something really interesting to focus on. And the reason behind that is because I did a bit of calculation earlier, and in their last 6 games, there has been 1 team that they've faced outside the bottom 8, and that's been Middlesbrough. And they performed really well against Middlesbrough. Is that a bit of an omen? Sheffield United, maybe, when they come up against better teams, perform better. And undoubtedly, they'll be much better than they were against many of those teams. Luton, the most recent one, of which Luton had 15 shots on Sheffield United's goal in that game. And we're quite unlucky, I thought. So, their last 6 games, the outlier has been Middlesbrough. They've played a lot of lowerly teams. Leeds United, on the other hand, Norwich, Burnley, Watford, Coventry, Sunderland, and Cardiff City. Cardiff, by the way, context applied with Cardiff. When they came to Ellen Road, they're not lost in 8. So there's a different standard of which we've been playing. They've won, I believe it's like 4 out of 5. Obviously, they lost the whole City, didn't they, at this place? But there's been a lot of narrow wins for Sheffield United, beating Luton 1-0. Very lucky against Portsmouth, 2-1 victory. Portsmouth out, they didn't get anything out of that game. If they go down, that'll be the game they look back on. Derby County, very, very close game. Very close game. So I think Leeds United, when you look at the standard of competition we've come up against, is better. Now, we've played Sunderland, haven't we? Sunderland, for me, sets you up better for Sheffield United. Much better, because you're playing a team that's very close, if not on the exact same level as their standard. Their last game was against bottom of the table, and now they're coming up against top of the table. Does that set you up? Are you then able to transition your performance from a victory against Luton Town, but then coming into a fast, dynamic, competitive, enthralling, tough encounter with Leeds United? That's a different question. Leeds have already played a very, very high calibre level of opponent, of which we ain't lost. So this lot have got a job, but I'm not underestimating them. I've taken a few shots in this video. It's always fun to do so, and they'll do it at us. But I think we can come here, and I think we can take the game away from them again. Do I think we'll do that? I don't. I think it's going to be tight, but I think Leeds are going to get the win here, and it's going to be another good night for us in the Championship. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Where do you think Sheffield United can hurt us? I think the key matchups for us, it's just going to be the pace. You know, can you get Harrison Burrows, how good he is, and he is a big threat for them. If he's getting forward and they're trying to be adventurous, how do they deal with Dan James on that counter-attack on that side? So much to consider, but I think Dan James is going to be the big danger man, the big outlet for Leeds United. And look at this here. What have we got down here? Got a little club shop, haven't we? Guess who won't be going in there at the end of the season? Moi. Jim Bob Rooney. We're going to get that Peru shirt sorted for you, buddy, as Leeds United win the Championship this season. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. See you in a bit. Cheers.